I'm Erica Gordon Taylor. This is my mother, Allie Gordon. First of all, I am so thrilled to be in Allentown. This is my first town, not only in Pennsylvania, but Allentown. And I had some wonderful soul food yesterday. In Allentown. Yes, I can't talk to you. I got 5 minutes. It's 2 of us. My mom, she's time challenged. So anyway, I just want to say, no, it's a privilege to be here, and I'm thrilled to meet all of the other honorees. It is such an honor to be in their company. We were thrilled when we received the notification. We were at home and we were just kind of bitter. It was a bittersweet moment. With the 60th anniversary approaching of Emmett Till's murder in August, we're getting a lot of acknowledgments and requests that are starting to come into the home. And it's very bittersweet because Mamie's gone, but 60 years. 60 years. Emmett was murdered 60 years ago. But it's still Emmett Till. Still Emmett Till. I'm going to go ahead and share with you what I have prepared, and then allow my mom to have remarks afterwards. Mamie Till Mosley was a civil rights pioneer and the mother of Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy who was lynched in 1955 for whistling at a white woman. Mamie made the intrepid decision to reveal her son's savagely beaten remains during an open casket funeral, to expose the ugly truths of racism that saturated the state of Mississippi, galvanizing the civil rights movement. Mamie's personal pain charged her public passion and activism as the acquittal of her son's murderers fuels a movement for justice and equality for all black men, a cause she lived and died for. When breath left Emmett Till's body, his death and the pain of his murder transferred into the hearts of his mother and our family. When she insisted to leave the casket open for the world to see what his murderers did to him, that same pain went into the hearts of Black America to continue the struggle for freedom and equality that continues to perpetuate almost 60 years later. Opening Emmett's casket is when her cry for justice began. Today, as we honor Mamie Till Mosley, Coretta Scott King, Amelia Robinson, and other incomparable women legends of the March on Washington and Civil Rights Movement, and witness their names historically etched in stone pavers at the Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King Freedom Memorial of Lehigh Valley, I can't help but remember the names of Rekia Boyd, Renisha McBride, Tarika Wilson, and Ayanna Stanley Jones. Those are only but a few who come to my mind whose names are also historically etched, not just in our hearts, but on their headstones in cemeteries around America. Victims of racially motivated crimes are the stories that are shaping our nation today, and not so much the stories of great historical leaders. It is the year 2015, and our nation continues to be gripped by images of young women and men of color, primarily Black, gunned down by entities sworn to protect them or being subjected to fatalities wherein these entities sworn to protect them turn a naked eye. Not only are they getting away with murders, but are the authors of the narratives of the victims who are too frequently depicted in the media as thugs, criminals, or menaces worthy of their fate. Mothers are taking their daughters' and sons' voices back, becoming the mouthpiece of their children, and their burdens are almost insurmountable. News cameras rush to get the murderer's side of the story, all the while editing images, sounds, and reactions to align the mediated images of these young women and men with the images being imputed upon them posthumously by their assassinators. Mothers across the country are taking to the streets to demand accountability and change in American policing that criminalizes African Americans. Mamie Till Mosley, Emmett Till's mother, is the only figure to have successfully offered a counter-narrative to the murder of a young Black man within a culture ready to blame the victim for his own death. Almost 60 years later, Emmett Till's death is yet widely considered an atrocity and a blatant violation of and disregard for his life, his civil rights, and human rights. The murderers of Emmett Till were not the ones whose narratives became public sentiment despite their acquittal. In fact, the average person would be hard-pressed to recall the names of the men who were tried for the murder of Emmett Till, or even the woman at whom Emmett was accused of whistling. The only names we remember are Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mosley. It is their legacy, intertwined, that became powerful enough to bring attention to an even greater problem in this country: the systemic and unlawful killings of Black men in our society and women, and the lack of protection afforded them, as well as the hyper-criminalizing of these men by the very persons sworn to protect them. Mamie Till Mosley's efforts resulted in an act of brutality becoming the symbol and rallying cry for the revamping of a system of brutality. And let me just add in here that racial profiling is a relative of Jim Crow. As Mamie Till Mosley stated so eloquently at the Southern Poverty Law Center Civil Rights Memorial dedication in 1989, and these are her words that we took from her speech to share with you today. "We are men and women of sorrow, and we're acquainted with grief, but we sorrow not as those who have no hope. We know that we were chosen to be burden bearers. Being chosen, we were given that God-given strength to bear these burdens. When it seemed nothing would help, when the blackness of 100 midnights surrounded my days, and when my eyes were a fountain of tears, the realization came that Emmett's death was not a personal experience for me to hug to myself and weep, but it was a worldwide awakening that would change the course of history. Emmett Till's death was the impetus for the civil rights movement in America. It was also the spark that ignited unrest in all the world where injustices are being perpetrated." End quote. Mamie was a woman of great faith, and it was this faith and trust in God that sustained her over the years, but it was her resiliency that enabled her to not only transform the tragic loss of her son into a triumphant testimony of activism during her lifespan, but also overcome the many challenges she faced dealing with the judicial system that followed his murder. In the tradition of Mamie Till Mosley, myself and my mother continue to remember the past and educate the future through the Mamie Till Mosley Memorial Foundation. And we thank Sam Bennett for her vision, along with your co-chairs, the Congresswomen, for uniting the legacies of freedom struggles and honoring their achievements of great sacrifice. These are the shoulders of great giants this new generation has yet proven worthy to stand. As we approach the 60th year anniversary of Emmett Till's murder, who are this generation's Coretta Scott Kings, Erica Huggins, Dorothy Heights, Rosa Parks, Maxine Waters, or Mamie Till Mosleys? Right.